Why does God need me to suffer in order to be glorified? Think about the premise of that question. Why does God need me to suffer to be glorified? Well, the first thing is God doesn't need anything from us. God is God. He is all-sufficient in and of himself. He doesn't need us to do anything in order for him to be glorified. All we have to do is look around at creation, look at the world in which we live, look at the beauty of the universe, the majesty of the sun and the moon and the stars and the earth in which we live. And we are so small compared to the bigness and the majesty of that God. So for us to even assume for just a moment that he needs us in order to be glorified misses the whole point of who God is. But it does raise a legitimate question, and the pain behind that question is obvious. I remember once I had a debate with a professor at a university who was an atheist. And that professor asked me this question. He said, "Why do you have to serve a God who is always looking for glory? Why do you serve a God who is consumed by his own glory? Why is that important to you? What kind of a God is it you serve?" He was actually mocking God as he sees God, one who is a glory monger, one who wants nothing but glory in his life. And he misses the whole point of why God is glorified. Why does he need to be glorified? The question is better phrased this way: why do we need God to be glorified? You know, the whole purpose of suffering, the whole purpose of heartache and brokenness is to draw us into a greater intimacy with him. And the moment we are drawn into that intimacy with him, he is able to apply to us his balm, his presence, his power, his grace. Because the fact is, we live in a broken world that he did not break. Sin broke it. And so because of sin, we have disease and we have heartache and we have suffering. And we live in this fallen and broken world that he made. And when he made it, it was perfect. He looked around and he said it was all good. But sin entered the world. My sin, your sin, Adam's sin. We are all in the loins of Adam. We all sin. So the world is broken. And as a broken and fallen world, we are going to experience enormous heartache. In the book of Romans, chapter 1, Paul talks about the fact that all around him, people were worshiping the tree and not the tree maker. They were worshiping the stones and not the stone maker. They were worshiping things. They were worshiping the things that that creator had made. They were making gods and icons and idols out of the very things that God had made, but missed the point of worshiping the God behind all of those things. And as he talks about one day all of us standing before that holy God, he says none of us will have an excuse, because we saw the Creator and we worship the creation instead. So all around us there is a beauty, there is a creation that shows us this is a perfect God we serve. This is an all-loving God we serve. And so is it really for his benefit that we glorify him, or is it for our benefit we glorify him? There was a book written recently, and the author of the book made this statement, and it became thematic throughout his book, where he says, God is most glorified when we are most satisfied in him. It's for our benefit we glorify God, because then he is drawn into the inner core of who we are. He is drawn into our soul. He is drawn into an intimacy with us where he can heal, where he can bring that balm, where he can bring that touch from sorrow to healing. He can bring us the healing that we need. So we are, in essence, able to glorify him for him bringing that intimacy to us. So it's not for his purpose, it's for our purpose we are glorified, or he is glorified. You know, in the book of Joel, chapter 2, he makes us a promise. He says in Joel chapter 2, verse 23, he says, "Be glad, O children of Zion. Rejoice in the Lord your God, for he has given the early rains for your vindication. He has poured down for you abundant rain, the early, the latter rain, as before. The threshing floors shall be full of grain. The vats shall overflow with wine and oil." These are promises he's giving to us. And then he makes this incredible statement: "I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten, the hopper, the destroyer, and the cutter, my great army which I sent among you." You see, God makes us a promise that he will owe us nothing, that it's not for his glory, so to speak, that we go through suffering. It's for our own edification. It's for our own intimacy with him to receive the power that only he can give in the midst of our sorrow.